so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, before we jump into today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a few sponsors that not only help to make it possible to produce this show 5 days a week, but that I'm also genuinely passionate about promoting, especially since they're helping to fund all the cool projects we have in the works, such as the Positive Head app, the docuseries that I'm intending to begin shooting within the next year, and whatever else we dream up over here at Positive Headquarters to help spread consciousness across the planet. Now, if you're short on time or just super excited for today's topic and want to dive right in and skip these ads, feel free to fast forward about
4 minutes
to get right into today's show. That being said, I strongly encourage you to listen because the reason I'm passionate about my sponsors is because they've made a huge impact in my own life, which is why I've aligned with these organizations. And I firmly believe they can do the same for you too. The first longtime stellar supporter of the show that I want to mention is Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online with over 8,000 video titles. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. The second sponsor I'm extremely passionate about promoting is Purium. It's no mystery that bringing your mind, body, and spirit into balance is necessary if a person truly intends to manifest the greatest and greatest version of themselves. And as of recording this, it's been about 4 months since I started taking the Purium Core 4 superfood products every day. And I can honestly and sincerely say my mind, body, and spirit have never felt more in alignment. If you've been looking for a way to easily get superfoods into your system every day with a simple plan that can help you reestablish a healthier foundation and relationship with food, I cannot recommend for you to start with the Purium 40-Day Ultimate Nutrition Plan, which includes a 10-day metabolic reset and cleanse enough. I spent personally months researching Purium before I jumped in, and now myself and over 150 other positive heads have started with the 40-Day Ultimate Nutrition Plan, and many of us have continued taking the Core 4 products on an ongoing basis daily ever since. I personally intend to take them for the rest of my life because they played a huge role transforming my vibrational state. If you decide to do it, it'll cost you just over $7 a day for the first 40 days and only about $5 a day after. But if you do it the way that I recommend you to do it, the smartest and most beneficial way, it won't cost you anything. I recommend you to just look at where you can reallocate money you are already spending on food each day. Essentially, you're just going to swap out the unhealthiest stuff you're in the habit of purchasing in exchange for Purium superfoods. And this way, it costs you nothing to participate in the transformation and cleanse. And it creates exponential benefit because now you've replaced something that lowers your vibration with something that is going to make you feel super high in the healthiest kind of way. Just take a few minutes, see where you can cut out $5 to $7 a day and commit to doing it. It's that simple. Also, for support, we'll be doing a big group transformation with other positive heads and soul family once each month for support. So I recommend, going right now, ordering your 40-day Ultimate Nutrition Plan bundle so that you have it when the next group transformation starts. Procrastination is not your friend. Order it now. You can thank me later, because I can assure you, you will not be sorry you've decided to send a message to the universe that you're ready to step up your vibrational game and reclaim your health sovereignty. Just head over to ishoppurium.com. That's spelled ISHOPPURIUM.com. Be sure to use the code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word, for either $50 off or a 25% discount, whichever is greater. And also, if you want to learn more details about the Purium products, why I'm so passionate about promoting them beforehand, you can go check out several videos I shot discussing these things in greater detail. You can also hear my interview with the very inspiring founder, David Sandoval. Much, much more over at positivehead.com/transformation. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a magical Monday here in the studio as I record. Hope you are all doing marvelous whenever you are receiving this broadcast. So let's see. Today, new week, new day. Get a chance to grow all over again. Continue to expand. And there's been a lot of that in my world. Lots of growth edges working through. And so it's because it's been an intense few days of growth, I am going to do a little reading today. I like reading. I love receiving insight from others, growing and learning from others. And I've been reading from this book, The Pyschic Explorer, by V. Van Dam, that I originally got a long time ago. I think it might have been my first kind of woo-woo book. And somehow I've managed to keep it all these many years, like 20 years. It basically is about this guy's out-of-body experiences, astral projections, techniques to do them. And then it goes in the end towards the end, and there's messages from different non-physical entities. Well, not non-physical, physical too, because there's message from the sun, the earth, the beyond the beyond. And I've read some of these already. And so there's a few left, and I'm going to read messages from Saturn today. Good old Saturn. I definitely agree with the idea that all living beings have a spirit which animates them. Actually, I believe it's a Japanese idea that all things have a spirit that animates them, even, stone or, crystals. We know that. Actually, Tesla said, crystals are living beings. Even though we don't understand the nature of their reality, they're living nonetheless. But they, I believe it's the Japanese who even say like a table, a chair, everything. And I guess it's relative truths, this idea of relative truths, because to some degree it is all the same stuff. It is all spirit, right? So it's from what perspective are you speaking from, I suppose. And certainly I believe that a planetary entity has a very evolved and developed spirit. And so we're going to hear from one today. Messages from Saturn. Before I jump into messages from Saturn, I would like to take a moment to read a review on iTunes. You guys know I love receiving iTunes reviews because, well, it helps to fuel my fire to continue this labor of love when I get feedback from you lovely listeners. And it also helps us to reach new people. So by taking some time to, complete the circle of love and, write a review, it has multiple benefits. It fuels me to continue. It also helps us to reach new ears. So, with that being said, by the way, we're going to have a very, very cool tool coming very, very soon. It's almost done, where you can share an episode, or people can choose a number between one and the number of episodes, and it's in this little crystal ball, and then it will pop up with that episode. So I'll be sharing that with you guys shortly. Dalian, the alien, has been putting that together for us, and so I imagine within the week I'll have that link that makes it just very fun and gamified way to share with other people. So exciting news there. But before I jump into today's reading, I would like to read this particular review by Maddie. Made by Han. Okay. It's all how you break it up. Made by Han, Positive Futures. Hey, Brandon, I love your podcast. I love having your podcast on throughout the day. I've been listening for a little over a month now and have really enjoyed it. My school-age son tunes in here and there, and it always sparks enriching conversation and curiosity. Keep it up. Your work is already positively influencing the next generation. Oh, I love that. That makes my heart absolutely sing. I always say and think like, wow, if I'd known some of the things that I know now when I was, 5 years old or 10 years old. And it definitely helps to lay a foundation, a perspective that it comes in so useful. I always say understanding the ultimate nature of reality and your divine birthright is more valuable than a Harvard education. When you understand everything is happening for you, not to you, and it's happening through you, you start living your life from that foundational perspective. Whew. That's powerful. That's when all the magic starts, and having that information sort of hardwired into your brain and heart from a very young age, man, these kids of the future are going to be something. So, all right, let's dive into the Pyschic Explorer by V. Van Dam. This is the message from Saturn. I received channeling, supposedly. And as I always say about channeling, I'm sort of indifferent as to where the information is coming from, what's the quality of it. And a lot of times I find people that are claiming to channel what's coming through them is highly, highly powerful and growth-inducing and insightful and inspiring and intriguing. So, yeah. And of course, with these messages in this book, I feel the same way, which is why I've been reading from them occasionally. All right, the messages from Saturn, here we grow. Saturn, we are the planet which holds the solar system steady amongst the various forces which tend to pull things out of balance and out of orbit. It is always assumed amongst your astronomers that the planetary systems within the solar system are somewhat self-regulating. However, this is not strictly so. Energy can be used in all sorts of ways, and there's always at least one planet in every system which acts as something of a balancer, which stops energies getting out of control and which makes sure that things stay in orbit in the right manner. Can you imagine what it would be like if every planet responded to cosmic energies in an anarchic fashion? It would be chaos. If we're going to focus on Saturn, and here we are talking as a group responsible for the outgoings of the planet Saturn, then we need to understand something of its nature, which is to hold back those energies which are too strong to be released safely within any given system, whether planetary, solar, or for that matter, cosmic. This holding back creates a certain amount of blocks, and these create in turn what may be called frustrations, and it prevents the early expression of forces which are too potent to be wisely manipulated, whether consciously or subconsciously. This is, in effect, implies that there is need for this holding back in order to save the solar system and the planetary systems from collapsing from excess activity, which would lead to self-destruction in the long or the short term. What only a few can perceive directly is that the solar system is swamped with new energies all the time, and each one of these energies is potentially a new departing point for any given system. Put it this way, if you on Earth respond to an energy which has the direct effect of changing the output of your society, then while this might be an excellent change in itself, if it happens too fast in certain circumstances, it could well create the disintegration of that society. This is the sort of thing which we attempt to prevent, the early response to any new energies. Few systems can react positively to a new input unless they are well prepared for it, and seldom is this the case. It takes a time of acclimatization, and we on Saturn specialize in that sort of help. We make sure that each planet can find the time it needs in order to accept and then use any new energies. We act as guardians of the system, as buffers, as regulators, as those who have an impartial eye with which to judge a situation. This may create frustrations as those who wish to respond to new energies are held back by us. We teach them a certain form of restraint through the circumstances of events. You can see how this happens even for you, as your new generations are held back by the older ones, and this tests them. We are testers of the spirit. We are the concealed ones who hamper the progress of the effervescent young ones. As this image of our task has percolated down through the centuries on your planet, it has been often represented by the devil, the one who chains her slaves to the stone of restriction. There is a card in the tarot which depicts this image as an androgynous monster with the horns of a goat, an inverted pentagram, female breast, etc. Read in a symbolic fashion, this, in truth, represents the one who holds back her creation from the potential mistakes he gives people and systems a hard time. This is the pure tradition of that great goat, Capricorn. To know this goat is a different affair. You would know her as a friend, as someone who wants to see the universe work, even if it means impeding the progress of those who are too eager and who try and evolve too fast. There is no Satan, yet there is an obvious, if erroneous, parallel between the names Saturn and Satan. Sat actually means something which we will keep hidden as yet. Nevertheless, in Sanskrit, which is one of the most ancient languages which you are generally aware of, Sat means wisdom, the wise one. The one who makes sure that all is safe, what is otherwise a fairly unruly situation in time and space. Whenever perfection is achieved in any given system, then it is because all the planetary groups within that system have mastered their individual and collective evolutions in harmony with one another. There is no other way for them. It is Saturn's task to make sure that this occurs, and that it does so according to rules and regulations which are maintained and upheld within that system. This is a cosmic archetype, and it is well worth your while considering the implications of this in an intuitional fashion. Something or someone must do this. In this solar system, it is Saturn. In other systems, it is planetary spirits which are like Saturn. You could call us a group which has its appointed place in every system of any galaxy. We have our role, and we fully understand the nature of this role. We will not let a situation go to its own destruction before it is time for a planet or star system to abstract itself from manifestation, having achieved its immediate goal of relative perfection for that period. It could be inferred that the great system of rings around Saturn, which stands out so noticeably under the lenses of giant telescopes you have, not to mention your occasional interplanetary probes, is a reminder to the whole system that we contain the ambient energies which pour into the solar system. By containing energies, we in fact foster a greater strength, not only of design and purpose, but also one of immediate attention. We clear the eyeglasses of those who are otherwise blind. We offer a means to escape from extremes and imbalances. This does not imply that we are infallible, and we have to learn our art and science of restraining. Even if this means putting those who are out of order in chains and keeping them in close contact with the ground of creation until they have seen that rushing ahead is madness, until they are ready to walk the way in harmony with the rest of the system. We give you these phrases because they are short and concise. This is typical of the manner in which we operate. We make it possible to understand anything that requires understanding in a simpler way. We want to point out that we were elected to the position of restrainers, and we do not elect ourselves into this post. We are elected by those who have preceded us, who have now gone on to prepare the way for those who will follow them later. Karma, as it is understood by you, is the systemic law which activates equal response to a given action. When the response is negative, the karma is apparently negative. However, it aims to annul the imbalance by creating a situation which will have to be lived through of equal intensity to the original imbalance. If the response is positive, then the karma enhances that positivity. This creates all the possible events which will help those involved to understand what they have done and why it is not worth their while doing it again. This is not a punishment. It is the only way in which imbalances can be corrected. Conversely, where the response is positive, it shows the way in which a force or a situation can be responded to without creating conflict and pain or tribulation. Your poor little planet has had to be very patient indeed to pull through to a greater area of wisdom. Its humanity has often departed a long way from the mark of balance. At this time, a lot of past and negative karma is being cleared, as those who have created imbalances are thrown into situations which they have to resolve into clarity. As some situations degenerate into further conflict and pain and unnecessary confrontations between energy groups which could, if they so wished, put an end to their patterns and then live together in greater harmony and mutual beneficence, more karma is generated, which must be cleared even faster. At a time when your planet is undergoing a planetary initiation, this process becomes more and more acute, and even if those who are in conflict were to end their miserable battles for supremacy over one another, the dust would still take a while to settle. Each planet in the solar system, or any system, has its particular role. So there are those who do exactly the opposite to what we do. They create situations which permit a greater access to new energies. Others boost those situations which have entered into communication or liaison with those forces. Therefore, the picture is not one of Saturn holding the reins of the whole system. We only do our bit to make sure that things do not get out of control. By out of control, what do we mean? We are describing events which could be utterly catastrophic to the system, such as wild energies being degenerated or channeled, creating almost impossible imbalances. Even if one single planet were to create these conditions within the system, then it could put the whole solar system at risk. Planets could topple over on their axis, perhaps repeatedly within a short space of time, or they could escape from their orbital paths, or collide, or lose contact with the system, and either plunge into deep space or into the sun itself. The Earth is a bit of a trial ground on which various experiments have been carried out over the millennia since humankind first learnt to make differentiations between what may be loosely called right and wrong. It is the world where others come to work out their frustrations caused by Saturn and those of us who are actively upholding the role of this planet. As such, it is an embodiment for all the energies which are imbalanced within the system, and in some respect from beyond it, even far beyond it. Therefore, it may not come as a great surprise if we reveal that the Earth is permeated with so many layers of karmic patterns that it is like an onion, awaiting to be peeled. The Earth absorbs all those evolutions which have a need for balancing their own particular patterns. Not Saturn, for this planet has more of a role of polishing that which has almost achieved a good balance. The Earth zone deals with the grosser imbalances. This tells you something of the Earth's density and purpose. If you like, it is a clearing house for the solar system and for those groups of beings who are attempting to solve age-old dilemmas of their own, and some of these have come, and some are here now, who have come from systems sometimes far removed from this system. These are in various categories. Some of them have traveled from star systems in various sectors of our galaxy, some from places outside of this and any other galaxy, and some a few from other galaxies. This tells you much and very little, for the situation is very complex, especially if seen over a great period of time. Saturn has been called by some esoterists the planet of time. Your ancient Greeks called it Chronos. We have recorded the comings and goings of all these various evolutions, and we have cataloged them according to their needs, their actions, their understanding, and the extent to which they participated intelligently in the unfoldment of the solar system. Some contributed little, others contributed a lot. Some are so active at this time on your planet, albeit in incarnated form, as far as the physical level is concerned in the main, that they are in the process of manipulating the more indigenous earth streams of human beings with their own thoughts and aspirations. This is allowed to go on since it does contribute something of worth to those evolutions which have less contact with the vast expanse of space. It will lead to a new integration of thought processes, which in turn will allow the humanity of your planet to merge with the cosmic scene, and then go about and explore the universes in whatever manner becomes positively useful. Now we come to other considerations. It has been pointed out by some of your astronomers that there is another planet within the solar system, beyond the apparently erratic orbit of Pluto, a planet with enough mass to influence the orbital speed of Neptune, and so on. Planet X. This can be found presently in the constellation of Virgo. It is not a planet in the strict sense of the word. It is a new heavenly body, as far as you would be concerned, which is the planetary equivalent of a neutron star. It is very massive, and yet it is not a neutron star or a black hole. We call it Queel, K-W-I-E-L, meaning the forbidden one. Its discovery by you is imminent. One of the difficulties which your astronomers have been having is seeing it, using optical and other kind of telescopes. This is because it reflects very little light, even though it is as big as Jupiter, although much denser, and it is also much further out than is presently assumed. Its effects on the whole system is enormous, and yet nothing is known to you about its primary configurations. It is as solid as lead, which is one reason we know perhaps more about it than others might, since Saturn also has an affinity with lead. This has only a small amount to do with your astrological interpretation of our planet's affinities. Think of atomic radiation, and you will perhaps understand something of what we are hinting at. And that is all we are going to say about Queel. There are also a number of other planets which are still undiscovered by you, 12 in fact, and some of these are as small as the Forbidden One is huge. We do not refer to the asteroid or minor planets. We do not include in these 12 Vulcan, which was discovered a few years ago by orbiting very close to the sun itself. In fact, so close that it is almost impossible to identify it using your technology. In 20 years' time, you will know at least 6 of these planets, and therefore the years ahead are full of surprises for your astronomers. In saying this, we are also pointing out that we have the task of keeping the accounts of the whole solar system and knowing what is going on throughout the system, and we act as a clearing bank for it. Obviously, we're not talking about money, yet we are talking about energies. Those energies represent a currency which is acknowledged by all the planets and by other planets and stars elsewhere. Though there's little more that we wish to impart at this time except to leave you with an old aphorism which we teach in our mystical schools. We have vast labyrinth museums and learning places on Saturn to which many beings from all around the local cosmos come to in a bid to understand what they are. This aphorism should be taken lightly, for you would need to come here yourself and be embedded in its mystery before you could hope to understand it fully. An age has passed, nothing has happened. There is no life, and yet there is a little ember of a spark which would know itself. At the moment that it knows itself to be alive, it expands. It expands so greatly that it scatters its forces to the 4 and 5 corners of the wide universe. Life is effectively born, and yet it has scarcely taken shape. It will know itself by immersing itself in its own mysterious density, which is to be, to know where it has come from and something of where it is going. Many, many eons pass, and the cosmos looks at itself and reflects on its own mystery. Then the spark of divinity trembles as it realizes what it is. And then it goes to a place where no being has ever been, a higher domain of its own creation, there in potential, yet entirely unexplored. This is the collective assumption that we make, that this domain does in fact exist. We have not been there, therefore we cannot talk of it with any certainty. And yet we feel confident that we shall merge into this domain as the universe finds itself within itself and transcends all its previously experienced barriers and restrictions. It is to this end that we on Saturn work, and those of the planetary group which Saturn belongs to are ever on the outlook for those who might solve the mystery and tread beyond into the starless night of the ever-apparent birth and death of all that is known, felt, and otherwise sensed. This is our message as much as it is our credo. May you be blessed as you walk forward into infinity. May your probings be fruitful, and may you escape from the confines of the known into the completely unknown. All right, there we have it. That's our message from Saturn. Very, very interesting. Very, very powerful. I haven't looked in a while about what the latest and greatest is with Planet X or any of these other findings that are referenced here. But since this book is like 20-some years old, I think, be interesting to see and do a little research to see if what the latest and greatest is on all that. So, interestingly enough, I randomly chose a song by Ayla Nereo because I love Ayla Nereo's music, and it's a new song, so I thought, I'll just play it today, even though it's not necessarily relevant, because a lot of times I try and match relevance, if I know what I'm going to talk about, although I didn't know what this was. I haven't read this in 20 years, so I didn't remember what was said here. And of course, Saturn has been called the planet of time, right? And this is a new song by Ayla Nereo, Wheel of Time. Hope you enjoy it. Love you all so, so much. Until next, no time, journey well. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.
May my voice be strong and this step be light.
May my learning come on this wheel of time as a breath be took. May the lessons glide swiftly as a wind, gentle as a sigh. Hear it calling me home. Hear it calling me listening. Hear it calling my soul. Come and be my guide, walking by my side as a breath be taken, given, taken, given. Calling me home. Come and be my guide. May my voice be strong. As a breath be took, may the lessons glide swiftly as the wind, gentle as a sigh. And hear it calling me home. Hear it calling me listening. Come and be my guide. As a breath be taken, given, taken, given, calling me home. As a breath be beating.